Hey everyone, this is Nitro. In this video, I am going to be doing another Nitro setup video to cover what has changed with my account over the past week. So the week before last week, I got 13 SSRs, and then last week I actually only got 10 SSRs, which is actually a really surprisingly low number because of all the events that were running last week. There was the Spring Spirit Joint Battle, which gave you extra runs to get SSRs, and of course there was also the Dragon Daily Run, which was increased by 1 because of the event that's currently running. So given all those extra runs, I was honestly surprised I only got 10 SSRs. But I guess sometimes RNG just really doesn't favor you. So, in terms of crystal count, the week before last week, I had 8 vouchers and 1517 crystals on Monday. Okay. Now, I currently have 35 vouchers and 3,423 crystals. In addition to that, I actually used up 1,550 crystals on the Macho Lotto that is currently running. So the total increase is actually 27 vouchers and 3,456 crystals, which is a huge amount of increase. The reason for this increase though is because there was the 18 Gate of Fate event that's been running, and due to that, every single day I've been clearing the Gate of Fate of one new hero that I have not yet unlocked. So I'm getting a lot of extra vouchers and crystals that way, which is why I got so much in total. Alright, so let's go over the gear that I got last week. And really, the biggest thing I got, which makes the week well worth it, is that one of my gambles gave me a Last Rites. Okay, so this is my 5th Last Rites, you know, top tier endgame gear, if you will, for PvP purposes, so I'm glad I got that one. Most of the rest was OR'd, but not everything. For example, I got a Giant's Resolve as well from a gamble, so that builds up my second Giant's Resolve to level 30. Okay. Monday, I didn't get anything from Dragons or the Joint Battle, but I did get a Twilight Helmet from a World Map event. Tuesday, 2 Dragon Runs gave me nothing, but the 4 Joint Battles in total gave me a Last Night in Hydra Bow. So by 4 Joint Battles, I mean the 2 Spring Spirit Joint Battles and then the 2 Daily Joint Battles. Okay. Wednesday, 2 Dragon Dailies gave me a Witch's Reminiscence, which makes my second one to level 40 if I build it up. I might actually just turn all 3 of those into ore, because I don't think you really need that many Witch's Reminiscence. Okay. Moving on. Thursday, 3 Dragon Runs at this point gave me a Tiara and a Baldur's White Robe. Okay. So the Tiara was OR'd, Baldur's White Robe, I now have a second one at level 30. Okay. Friday gave me an Azure Legend, which raises my second one to level 50, and a Carbon Fiber Armor, which was OR'd. The 4 Joint Battles on that day gave me nothing. Well, oh, one quick mention. Wednesday and Thursday, I didn't mention the Joint Battles because those ones gave you, I think, Bursting Heart Keys as well as, you know, bonding materials. So there was no chance of getting SSR equipment there. Moving on Saturday, right, the 3 Dragon Daily Runs gave me nothing. The 4 Joint Battle Runs gave me 1 Anasis Armor. You know. And then finally Sunday, by Sunday, the Joint Battle, the Spring Spirit Joint Battle event had ended. So there was just the 3 Dragon Dailies. And I got a Nighthawk out of those. So overall, you can see, very, very low SSR rate last week. But that's how RNG goes, right? Sometimes it really favors you, other times you get really few items, right? There's weeks where I get like 6 SSRs. So clearly it was just one of the bad weeks. Alright, so let's move on. And the next thing to mention is the equipment that I still need, which really has not changed, right? Extreme Magic Bow, you could use 3 of them, right? Zerda, Joshua, and Hiei. I really just want 2 because I don't have Joshua built, and I don't see how I can fit Joshua into my building either. So I could use 1 more Extreme Magic Bow, and I'll be happy with that. For the weapons, I'm still looking for Mimir's War Axe for Yusuke. Currently using Mjolnir. Yusuke is actually doing what he needs to, even with the Mjolnir. So at the end of the day, even if I don't get the Mimir's War Axe, it's acceptable. Okay. While Mimir's War Axe is his best in slot, the Mjolnir is perfectly viable as an option. So, helmets. The only helmet I'm really looking for now is the Tenyo's headdress, and I want as many of them as I can get. because every single holy class character, every single demon class character, and every single mage can use a Tenuous headdress, right? The fact that it can provide a +3 mobility buff to an allied character is absolutely huge. So the more of these you get, the better. I currently have 3. I really do want more of them. For the armors, the only one I'm really looking for now is the Last Rites, okay? I currently have 5 because I picked up a new one this week, and really, you can actually use 11, okay? And I have the characters who can use it listed below, right? For the core PvP characters who can use it, it would be Juggler, Yusuke, and Listel, okay? So Juggler would be, I guess, the aquatic class. Yusuke is, of course, holy class, but in his holy class because he can still use it. And then Listel is demon class who can use the Last Rites. The flyers who can use it, and these are the most common flyers for PvP purposes, are Angelina, Ares, and Claret. Technically you could build more for Alte Muller, for Cherie, any flyer you use could technically use the Last Rites. But the most common PvP flyers are the 3 that I just listed. And then finally, for assassins or archers, there's 5 of them which see use in PvP at this time, which are Zerida, Joshua, Alastriel, Omega, and Hiei. So I think the maximum you truly need is 11. Realistically, you probably won't use all of these characters, but I would say 7 is still very usable, if not even 8. So I'm hoping to get more of these Last Rites. Okay. Even at 5, I still find myself wanting more of them. And the accessories really hasn't changed, right? I need more Twilight Stars, I need Juggler plushies, I really need Swordsmith medals, and I need at least 1 Apex boots. So next, let's talk about the shard farming plans for July 2020, because this Wednesday is when the month of July comes. So currently for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there is still the 18 Gate of Fate event that is still running, and I'm currently using those 18 Gate of Fates to do 3 Ares shards, 4 Dihorto shards, 3 Gizarov shards, 5 Gate of Fate unlocks, and then 3 extra runs into various things. For example, today I did 2 Landius and 1 Angelina. On Tuesday, I'm going to do 3 Gate of Fate unlocks, and then on Wednesday, I'm going to do 2 more Gate of Fate unlocks and 2 Landius shards. So the reason for the 3 Gate of Fate unlocks followed by 2 Gate of Fate unlocks is so that I can complete all the Gate of Fates of all my heroes. Okay, so with those last 2, I will have every single character whose Gate of Fate needs to be done completed. So I've gotten all the rewards from it and so on. Right. As for the 2 Landius shards, the reason I'm getting Landius shards, even though I already have a 6-star Landius, is because I'm collecting shards of Landius so that I can trade these shards for the other hero of the Couples Banner. And the Couples Banner occurs on July the 9th. I'll do a separate video about it in greater detail this week, but long story short, basically, if you have 50 shards of one hero of a banner, you can trade it for 60 shards of the other hero of this banner, as long as you have a CP token to do the trading with. Okay, so the banner that I'm looking at trading for is the Landius and Angelina banner. So that way I can trade the 50 Landius shards that I farmed for 60 Angelina shards, right? It's just basically a free 10 shards that I get, right? So that's why I'm farming up those shards, and you can see that for Landius, I will have Landius completed on July the 19th. Okay, so I'll have 50 shards. I'll have collected 50 shards of him then, and that's when I can do the trade. So just also to be important to note is that for the trading, the Couples Banner only lasts for 2 weeks. So given that it only lasts for 2 weeks, you get the final day of trading would be on Wednesday, July the 22nd. So you'll want, that's the other reason why I'm farming up a few shards in advance, right? In 2 weeks, that's 14 days. 14 days times 3 gives you 42 shards. So you're gonna need 8 extra shards to do a trade for sure. Okay. Of course, if you have not done any of the Gates of Fate at all, right? Doing the first 3 clears gives you 15 shards instantly. So with 15 shards, you only need 35 more shards, and those 35 shards can be farmed in 12 days. So if you've not cleared the Gate of Fate of a hero yet, you can very easily get 50 shards to do the trade. Okay, So that's kind of going off topic, but let's move on to talk about the shard farming plans for July. And basically what I'm doing initially is I'm going to do Ares, Diharto, and Gizaroff, with the goal of finishing off my Diharto because he's so close to 150 shards or being 6 stars that I might as well finish him off, right? And with the shard farming, Diharto will be finished on July the 6th, right? Or rather, sorry, I actually have Diharto at 147 out of 150 shards. So he's 3 shards away from finishing, okay? Which is not a big deal because I can leave him like that for a while because I'm not really planning on using Diharto at this time. I could replace, let's say, 3 Gizaroff shard farms for 3 Diharto shards, right? For one of these days. Like on the Thursday, I can do that swap and then finish off my Diharto that way. But moving on, with the couples event, depending on how I pull, for example, if I get a copy of Mystery Knight, right? Then I will have the Mystery Knight, a copy of Mystery Knight, excuse me. And then I will use that copy of Mystery Knight, and I will use the CP token to trade for Angelina, right? If I get a copy of Lanford instead of Mystery Knight, then I'm going to have to trade Lanford shards for Mystery Knight shards, and then I'm probably going to have to draw again to try to get the trade for Angelina. So it's a bit of a hassle in that sense. So depending on what happens, I may end up farming Lanford shards as well as Ares shards. Not entirely sure yet, right? So that's why I have listed out right now, it's going to be 3 Ares or 3 Lanford shards. I'm assuming I'm going to be just farming... I'm currently assuming I'm simply going to just farm Ares shards, but that might not be the case, depending on what happens. Okay. So we'll see how that banner goes. Okay. Also, I should mention, this week's banner is Shalinka and Lucia. I have 0 plans on drawing on that banner, so that's why it doesn't even factor in at all. Okay. And yeah, the whole week, this whole month will basically be focusing on Ares, finishing him off, Gizaroff, finishing him off, and then the last character that I'm farming may be Lanford, Landius, or Mystery Knight as soon as I draw for him, draw for her on the couples events. Also worth mentioning though is that at the end of this month, on July the 30th, there is going to be another banner, which is the banner of Licorice and Renata. And my goal for that banner is to get Licorice. So assuming I get a copy of her, I'm going to swap to farming her up as well, right? So these are the initial plans. They may change depending on whether I successfully get Licorice, for example, and but these are the current plans, and fingers crossed that I do get the heroes that I want. It's going to be rough, you know. There's the couples banner I really need to draw on. There's the Licorice banner I really need to draw on, and you know, having to draw on 2 different banners and aim for specific characters is going to be a bit luck-based. So we'll see how that goes. So with all that covered, let's move into the game and talk about things in my account. So, for example, in the events section, you know, we've had the Magic Tower Conquest be completed last week. We've had the Joint Battle event, Spring Spirit Joint Battle, be completed last week. We currently have Legendary Gate running for 18 Gates of Fate runs, as I already mentioned. And there's also the Secret Realm Revival running for until Wednesday for +1 daily reward chances of, you know, Goddess Trial, Energy Gym, Bonding Realm, and Angelica's Special Training. So I'm just kind of doing these events. And Big Bros Gamble, I already previously mentioned it, but I spent 1550 crystals on drawing for everything except for the top 3 items. Right? I don't really need the random SSR. I really don't need the runestones since I have 4 of them. And I'm not that interested in the skin when I don't even use Betty. So at the end of the day, I was drawing for the skin vouchers, and unfortunately it took me 1550 crystals to get it. Sometimes you get lucky, you get it in like 2 or 3 draws. This was not the case for me this time around. Okay. Next up would be about the gambles of the week. Right? So in terms of gambling this week, I currently do have 788 Aura Column Ore on hand, and I am definitely going to gamble on headgear because I think that's my priority. The ones I really want right now is the headgear and ideally more last rites. So those would be the two that I gamble for. So if I choose to gamble, depending on how much Aura Column ore I have, right? Because I'm still balancing that out against purchasing Epic Martial Spirits. For example, looking at my gear right now, there's a bunch of items I still need to level up. Like, for example, this Blue Dragon Carapace for Leon, Scarlet Embrace for Zerida, and just various items that are being used by heroes as well. So there's a bunch, like, for example, Fury of Tyr could use some leveling up here. Let's say if I choose to use Liffany, I would need to level up the Fairy Wings, her exclusive. So you can see that there's a bunch of different gear that I'm looking at potentially leveling up, which all needs Epic Martial Spirits. So that's one of the reasons why I'm considering breaking down all those Witch's Reminiscence, because I really don't think I need a second one, right? But end of the day, I think I will at the very least do the headgear gambles to try to get more Tenyo's headdresses. So let's do the first one, Loki's mask. Second one, Loki's mask. Third one, Tenyo's headdress! Yes! So there we go. Well worth it. Okay. Took 600 ore, but I got another Tenyo's headdress. This is my fourth one, and as I mentioned, I have here like every single healer, every single mage, every single demon unit could use Tenyo's headdresses. So the more of them I get, the better it is. Okay. So that's a relief, getting another Tenyo's headdress. I'm definitely going to have to level this one up, which means more Epic Martial Spirits and yeah, more gold, of course. So this was a good gamble this week. Very, very satisfied and happy with that. I seem to be getting equipment again, like the equipment that I need. And then of course later this week, I will do my SSR accessory purchase, right? And 2 more SSR accessory purchases here once July hits. So fingers crossed that I get the SSR accessories I need, because there's going to be 4 chances at that as well. Alright, so other than that, I should also mention, during the Ares Maya banner, I think I did close to 200 summons on that banner, and I got 1 copy of Ares, and then 1 off-banner Ultimuller, right? I mentioned that. Well, I just realized that I actually forgot to get rid of the memory shards from that very last summon, so I'm just gonna get rid of those now, right? Have to make sure I keep those 8 Landia shards, so I'm just gonna extract the other ones and get the 260 memory essence, because memory essence can be used to purchase things. So that was the next thing that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a lot more memory essence this month, as I'm going to be doing a lot of summoning on banners, right? Namely, first the couples event banners, and then after couples event, the Licorice Renata banner. So that's, as I mentioned, that's gonna be rough. Ideally, I get a copy of Mr. Knight very, very fast, because that will really, really help me. But I really do want, if possible, to trade for Angelina shards, because if I can, right, Angelina instantly gets 60 shards, she's going to be at 5 stars right there. So it's going to be a gamble on that banner. We'll see how that one plays out. Okay, so Apex Arena is the next thing to mention, and I really need to put together another Apex Arena video. That's on my to-do list, because I currently have 62 battles in there now with 34 wins and 28 losses. Current ranking is Gold 1, 1800 points. Okay. A lot of the battles were very skippable because either I made mistakes or I got very unlucky, but some of these battles are well worth watching, and so that's on my to-do list this week, to put together a few Apex Arena videos. Okay, so I am bouncing in and out of the top 100, right? I think at one point I was at like 1830, which would have been the top 100. But then I lost those 2 matches in a row, and that knocked me down to 1800, which is where I stopped. And then yeah, with those 2 losses in a row, which was to Adair and Erode, whatever. Losing to those 2 made me just stop to pick up the rewards for the 1800 level, and next week I will probably aim for Langrisser rank. Okay, so Apex Arena, rapidly doing pretty well. I'm rapidly finishing up with my grind in the ranked mode, the point race, right? So that's looking up. Okay. As an aside, I really don't have the current meta for the Apex Arena, right? The current meta for Apex Arena is really the AoE team, and I'm still using a single target strike team. And it's because of that that I want to go over some of my matches. Okay. So, other than that, in terms of gear changes, right? Clearly, I'm getting more and more gear, like the last rites, which I put onto one of my heroes. I think I put the last rites on Yusuke. Yes, right? So there's the new last rites that I got last week was put into Yusuke. The Tenyo's headdress, I'm going to figure out who I put it on, right? But there's so many heroes, you know, there's so many mages, demons, and holy units in parties that it's not going to be hard to figure it out. You could even put it on Yusuke, for example, if you would prefer Yusuke to, you know, provide mobility buffs to other allies, for example. It works, right? Yes, dispelling 5 buffs from an enemy when you kill someone is nice, but inherently that assumes you kill someone in the first place. So whereas a mobility buff for an ally would benefit your your combat scenario right away. So that's why I'll decide on that last one very, very soon. Right. Since I just got it, you know, I need some time to figure it out. Other than that, in terms of class mastery and class changes and so on, I've been slowly upgrading the heroes that I plan to use, right? You know, whichever hero I put into my Apex team, I start upgrading the stats on, you know, and that's why you see a lot of either orange numbers or the brown numbers, which represent very well upgraded stats. And you know, currently I'm looking at upgrading both Angelina and Ares into my party. So we'll see how that goes to get these 2 characters into my party. And it's just, yeah, but first I need to get Ares into class mastered. Currently, he does have his swordsman class mastered, so as soon as the dragon class is mastered, I can start doing class mastering chants on him and throw him into my Apex party. Yeah. Even though he'll only be 4 stars, I think he'll be worth using at that point. Of course, one thing he is lacking is the last rites, but maybe I'll move a last rites from one of my assassins over to him. Right? Angelina is kind of in a similar boat right now, you know, except in the case of Angelina, I still need a few more epic martial spirits to finish up her exclusive, Flower in the Wind. So, and in terms of class mastery, she's pretty much the same. Just needs 1 more rank master, and then she has the dragon class mastered. But I still actually need to upgrade her other class for the key skills, Tidal Surge and Alternate. So, what's likely going to happen for me is I'm going to switch into the Serpent Knight, finish up the Serpent Master, then finish up Dragon Master after that. Because without those skills, frankly speaking, Angelina is not very good right now, at least for PvP purposes. So Angelina is still a work in progress. Ares will probably be finished this week, then Angelina, then I'll start upgrading, you know, Mystery Knight and Licorice and so on. So I'm always short on guild medals, right? There's always, pretty much every single week, I have a use for my guild medals and I use them all up. And lastly, the only thing left to cover would be my training grounds, right? So training ground wise, my adjustments, I mentioned how I realized my juggler was dying far too frequently. So I'm continuing to upgrade my flyer and aquatic right now, you know, because I need this upgraded for the playoffs. Otherwise, I have too big of a gap. Like everyone would just ban my Landius and then my juggler would be too weak. So currently, focusing on upgrading the hit points of the Flyer and Aquatic Training Ground. You know, when I get that done, then I'll look into upgrading something else. Right? And it's moving on. It's moving pretty smoothly. to be perfectly honest. I mean, it was at what, 40% like 2 weeks ago. It's now 50%, and I'm sure I can get this pretty rapidly upgraded to definitely to 70%. Right, and then at that point, I'll look into upgrading the next training ground. So that's it for the changes this week. Steadily making upgrades, right? In terms of Anarchy farming, I'm focusing on the materials that I need to do the hit point upgrades, which is mainly brown essential oils, Rocky, so that would be Adon, Rocky, and then either Samson or Nimes, depending on what I need at that point, right? But it's, so I'm currently skipping Jones entirely. You know, that's why I have no burning straps at all, but the current flyer upgrades don't need burning straps whatsoever. So I'm just upgrading the other stuff, right? Because hit points, well, even finishing up the attack tech requires crazy shorts and brown essential oils, right? Hit points uses the same thing, crazy shorts, brown essential oil. And the other hit point does pretty spray and brown essential oil. So my priority for farming right now is brown essential oil, but at the same time I need these flyer manuals, which is why it's a little bit of a balance, given that you have to choose between Rocky and between Valen, who gives brown essential oils. But Adon is guaranteed farmed for a while, you know, and I swap between Rocky and Valen, and I swap between, and then Samson and Nimes don't really matter because I'm not really using their materials at this time. Actually, as a side note, I think I am actually doing Nimes because Nimes gives the pretty sprays, right? And at least one of the techs that I'm upgrading uses pretty sprays. Here, you see. So yeah, I think I am doing Nimes rather than Samson at this time. Yeah. You keep adjusting the Anarchy you farm based on what you're currently leveling up, long story short. And that is everything I wanted to say in this video. So, oh, one last thing I should mention. I already recorded down my current crystals and vouchers, right? But I actually still have 5 more Gate of Fates to do today. And the 5 Gate of Fates I'm probably going to do today will be Alfred, right? So when I clear his Gate of Fates, I'll probably have more crystals and several more vouchers from doing the Trinity, from doing the feats. So that will steadily increase, right? 3 more. As I said, there's 4 more characters I still need to clear. Akaya, Alfred, Parn, and Pirates. So that should be at least 12 vouchers, as well as a whole bunch of crystals that will be unlocked there. And so building up my war chest for summoning is basically what this is all about. So that's it. Once again, thanks for watching everyone. I hope you found this video useful to you in terms of your planning for this month. And on that note, Nitro out.